Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I love the name of her business because it says everything that we need. True soul healing. We all have stuff we need to heal from, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you believe it or not. There's things that have happened in your life and even, wait for it, your past life, which we're going to talk about today. But she takes care of all of that in terms of practicing energy medicine as a Reiki master and so much more. And she's back with us, Jessica Poretto, on the program. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Yes. Past life and past life regression is something I think scares a lot of people. And like, yeah, come on, that doesn't exist. You know, I was something in another life. And then people joke about it. Well, I was a dog in another life or whatever. But when you look at it, and even under hypnosis, I'm sure you find that it's a real thing.
Absolutely. If anyone's experienced deja vu, which I'm sure every person has, that's a form of it. It's like, I've been here before. Or when you meet someone and you just don't know why, but you connect with them right away.
Yeah.
You probably have. You've probably seen them and they were probably a part of your life before.
I've experienced it, and sometimes you don't know what to make of it, but it's like, I know you, but I'm not really sure where. But I can say, and I haven't had a past life regression done under hypnosis. I've had a timeline regression, which doesn't go to a past life. It goes to the beginning of different traumas or whatever. This was actually for 5 negative things when I had that done. That was about a year ago. Okay. So it was like on the timeline, when was the first time you experienced sadness? When was the first time you experienced anger? And the theory is you go back as far as you can under hypnosis. And it was so light. It wasn't even, the practitioner didn't even ask the situations, didn't even need to know those situations.
Right.
But apparently, once you go back to the first time you experience something and you get rid of that trauma, it clears the path to present. Doesn't mean you won't experience sadness, anger, or anything, but that thread that goes along. But I want to ask you this. So I believe in past lives.
Okay.
I have an affinity for the 1800s.
That's one of the exercises is timelines, like something that you have, a passion for, maybe a hobby or something that you like to do, a place that you are yearning to go to. You have no idea why. That's usually because you've been there, or it's like home to some people.
It's bizarre. I could spend all day long looking at pictures of the 1800s, specifically like the 1870s, like right where there was a little bit of technology kicking in, but it was still a simpler way of life. Right. And how people made do with what they had, what they were wearing, historical pictures, all of that. I can't explain it. So I think I was around.
I get that a lot. Personally, it's not really a timeline for me, like a specific time, but places for sure, where I have, it's like I've been there, or I know, and it's like a comfort, like a home.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain, but it's the deja vu thing, especially. It's like, this has happened before. And sometimes you get deja vu in a sense that it hasn't happened yet, if that makes sense. But like you just said, it's like a thread. Well, if that thread, gets rid of stuff that's from one thing from the past and it goes to now, well, everything's energy. So when people pass, their soul technically never dies because it's energy. So it's just like it continues on in a thread, I guess. That was a good example.
Wow. How about when you've worked with people and the things that you've discovered in past life, what they've said to you, how it was almost validated, all of that?
It's funny because it's almost the exact same. Their personality is probably the same, like the things that they like or the things that they find while they're going through. And some people can't get past, the hardest part, I think, for a lot of people is opening their third eye, because that's how you kind of tap into that. So once you open that, it's like you start seeing things, glimpses of pieces. I do notice with the age that it's happening with people. So right now, especially because of the moon, this is a very, very, very sensitive time where we have an innate ability to sense things, see things, open up because of, we're in the Lionsgate portal.
Hmm.
And, but I notice it's usually around 50, like 50s, almost to 60-year-olds that really, like, the last 3 years, they keep saying, there's a part of my life where this isn't what I want anymore. They're doing the same thing. And I guess some people might call it a midlife crisis. I totally disagree.
Well, isn't it? I want to jump in here because I'm learning about this recently. Isn't it called astrologically the second return?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Cycle,
almost like
cycle
a
through
new,
cycle.
cycle, rebirth, whatever it is.
Yeah, because, like, so for instance, our chakras all have different timelines, right? So from the first one is 0 to 6 years old. So, and then so on. So it's kind of like we go through these cycles, just like with allergies. People might not have an allergy that they had 7 years ago because we become new, we regenerate. So I think that the biggest part of my favorite part is when they realize that they're not the same sex as they are now. Like, they were like a male if it's a female. And it's funny because it's usually the ones who are so very, 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 very girly, very feminine, right? Unlike like someone who's more, like of a jock girl, like it's always the really, really, really girly ones that are like, I think I was a guy.
Wow.
And they very excited. It's
Yeah.
it's shock a little bit, but
Well,
it's
I guess, you look at it this way, everybody has, and this is scientifically proven, a feminine side and a masculine side.
right. You're supposed
Everybody
to,
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good
So
balance.
maybe it was more one way in a past life and not. Now, you mentioned third eye. Somebody recently told me, who is a Reiki practitioner, does chakra balancing, told me that for me, and quite a few have told me that I'm intuitive.
Right.
She said, "Here's the deal with you. Your third eye is just clogged up, and you don't use it like most people do.
Hmm.
You don't get to see the future like most people do intuitively when they're plugged into it." She said, though, however, you make up for it. I think she said the fifth chakra, where you can spot bullcrap. You can
Yeah.
see if people are lying. You can read people immediately. You just
Empath.
can't use your third eye to look around, future and things like that. So she says it's an interesting, thing going on there. It works for you. Maybe you got to get your third eye cleared out to get more use of it. But
So I would just because you've done so much, you're aware of, like, being a perfectionist, always being in your head. So you've more so probably worked on your lower chakras more so. So that's why you're very grounded. You're an empath. Which kind of empath is, I don't know. So there's the 6 C's, clairsentient, clairaudient. I would say that she's probably 100% correct, because you have a lot of energy around this part of your head. It's real close. So, like, if I were to stand behind you on your crown, it's probably like, there's a lot going on because your lower half is very balanced. So, but you haven't worked on your upper half. So once those two kind of, we're upside down triangles. So once those two kind of come into balance, it'll be good.
working on it.
It'll be good. It's hard to do. I'm doing that with a few of my clients right now. One cannot, it's hard for someone to picture their third eye. So I always tell them, close your eyes and see if, tap in, look in between, your eyes, look at your third eye. Most people either see an actual eyeball or they might see a lotus flower. Just have it, once it opens, kind of tap through. And one of my clients literally, like, within 2 seconds, she's like, no, I saw a lotus flower. The flower's petals opened. It was just blue, really, really blue. And it wouldn't, get past that. And, I told her, I said, well, just kind of walk through behind there. And once she did, she was in, like an Egyptian kind of setting in a courtyard. She was a male. But she was watching, it was only women and children playing in this, beautiful, lavish courtyard with no grass, and there was a chest. I'm sorry. There was a chest, she said, and it had money, but it was on the outside of it, not on the inside. So now we're trying to get past the chest, but it so quick. Once that third eye opened, she was like cruising through. And now she's like, I saw this, I did this today. And she's like, I didn't know what you did.
I'm so jealous because I don't feel that I'm plugged into it. And not just because this person said it. Somebody told me another way to experience your third eye. They told me that wear a sleeping mask, but one that allows you to keep your eyes open, because it's different when you're in complete darkness and you have this mask on, and they make them. They're like $15 where there's a padding and space, but your eyes are open, but it's completely dark. And that's
Okay.
an easier way to um, meditate, use your intuition, and actually finally find your third eye. I don't know if it works, but that's what somebody told me.
So yeah, a lot of people have trouble. They just see dark, just one color, which is either black or white, that is something. People don't realize that is something, that's, you can, what does that color make you feel like? We can do like a quick one, a third eye, to see if it works on you.
I'll do whatever you got.
All right. See that so many people are either more dominant in their bottom chakras, which you probably are. I am as well. And then my upper chakras, it took a little time to kind of catch up. And once everything is in balance, you never know, you might be unstoppable, Steve.
Waiting.
Okay. All right, let's do the third eye. The mask, you'll have to send that to me because that seems neat.
Yeah. It's just and you know what? It's not wasted money because I don't know about you, but sometimes I want to take a nap and it's light out, throw the mask on. And I don't like the tight fitting ones. And I even tell you, I mean, this is just, I'm digressing, but I used to have doing radio, morning radio, weird schedules. I'd have to take a nap at like, 12 o'clock for like an hour. But I would use a mask and a tighter fitting mask and actually got a sty, and it would come back all the time. These other masks don't do that because it's not sitting right on your eye.
No, that's and there's more to that than that. We'll have to talk about that later. That's very interesting. I do as well. And that's a form of that's a stress coming out, that's it comes to your eye. That's funny.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see this. If you want, these are always great for people too. It helps kind of see, but it also is very cooling. I don't like anything around my face because I'm claustrophobic, but these are very neat. And this is a stone. It's a mask. It's an amethyst mask.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
you could put it in the refrigerator, or you can even warm it up. So if you have a headache, these are great. And they're very light.
It looks heavy. Is it heavy?
No, and that's what I'm saying. I don't like anything around my neck or my face.
Sure.
It's almost like, I want to say, a weighted blanket, if that makes sense. It does. It's
I got you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
It actually probably feels like your head is getting hugged.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Okay. So, let's see. All right. So you close your eyes.
Okay.
A couple deep breaths. So the space between your eyes, do you see or sense anything? Like, if you could look in between there, but looking out.
I believe so.
Okay. So you can either see it as, you can picture either an eyeball or a lotus flower, but with the petals closed. There could be a swirl of colors. You could see a face or even flashes of moving pictures. Just notice whatever details that you see.
I'm trying to get into the zone.
Okay, you want me to do?
Like I just see like lots of just static.
Lots of static. Okay. So then kind of take a couple deep breaths, breathing, and start down at the bottom of your toes. And just kind of start to sense the feelings of your body parts. Like literally, like, feel the sensations from your toes and go to your knees. And your thighs and hips. Stomach. Chest. Throat. And face. And then picture like a white light above you through your crown, kind of clearing away that static or that fuzz. And as it kind of clears away, it's getting rid of all the energy, all the thoughts. Making a way for something in between our two eyes, even from the back of our head. It could be a color. If it's an eyeball, see what color eyeball it is. If it's a screen, start to make it come to life, like a movie, a picture show. If there's symbols or any movement, just tap into that and kind of walk through it.
I feel like I'm close, but I'm not there.
Okay, what do you see?
Um, a screen, but I just see a lot going on all at once, but I can't tell what it is. And the screen, if you will, is like a blackish gray with lots of different color. And that's just kind of like the background. And that's
Okay, that's good. So kind of stay in that background is good, because those colors are going to start to settle, or they may not. But try to focus on clearing a way through that to the back of that screen. So if it was to open up for you, like clouds separating, asking yourself what you are seeing and noticing details are good ways to get there. Just remain separate from the vision. Don't control it.
that's the hard part.
Yes, because you're much more in your head. You're very analytical. You're a thinker. So if you were so the picture screen. So if there's pictures that flash in your head, let's say anything, people, what would it be? First thing that comes to your mind.
What I'm seeing or should be seeing, or what, how do you mean?
What if a person was to flash through that screen of color? Who would it be?
I don't know. Like I'm
Yeah.
just, and you're doing a great job in getting me there, but I'm not getting there. And usually I don't have a problem. I don't
No,
know.
it's it's your it's a I don't like to use the word blockage or stuck, but it's definitely congested.
I feel that. Like it's just there's something in the way and I can't get
Okay.
there.
Yes.
Maybe if I was had the eye mask on or it was completely dark, that might help. But I think I should see something
Other,
despite
yeah.
that.
And the colors. You still see colors?
It's like, old school TV where
Yes.
you know, where you got static, but you got color static. It's
Yes.
just like,
When they would turn it off at a certain time at night, like shut it down. That kind
yeah, but in color, not like black and white. It's like there's definitely I see reds, I see greens, I see
Okay, so
um
that's good. So red is your root, which means being grounded. You possibly should ground. If when you see that, make sure you're grounded to the earth, doing a quick exercise. Green is your heart chakra.
hmm,
So that's kind of like you're actually kind of balanced. You're doing your own scan of your own body right now.
I believe that.
And so your upper are definitely, because you're much more analytical. So let's try it. Let's try this way. So you can open your eyes, step back in your body. Hi. So you're probably because you
Uh,
are very grounded and you're a thinker. We just got to get the two together. So if you were to be in
It's
a set,
frustrating. I have to tell you,
I know.
I'm frustrated, and I've tried it before, and it's like, why am I not? I should be. And it's, I'm trying not to think of images just to throw them up there. I want them just to organically.
Come to you,
Right.
because when we were doing the journey, they organically came to you because you weren't put to the test of thinking, because you're already a thinker and already naturally there's so much going on. So in a way, you said that something's blocking. It's you're blocking yourself. So and I'm doing this right now with taking this class with someone from San Diego, and he's great. But we were just doing spirit to spirit, and it's basically like talking to talking to other people's spirit. So you're kind of like behind a rose, which is like your shield. And there was a bunch of other people on Zoom with us. I can't see them, it's just hear them. And we were energetically saying hi to their spirit, my spirit to their spirit. And what was coming through was it was like tapping into learning how to tap into your energy, right? Or to other people's energy without being in the same room with them. So that's a
Mm.
great way to start. And that's what I do with my clients. I'm showing them we have all of these abilities already. It's just we're so clogged and clouded with everything around us that it's hard for us to sense our own bodies and sense what's
It's,
around.
and it's not you. You're doing a great job.
No,
Like I got it. I know it's me. Like I know there's
it's I'm the same.
something.
I'm the same way. I was the same way. It's
Mm.
it's a Virgo thing, I'd like to say. It's just we're very, once your top part is in tuned with your bottom part, you won't have that problem anymore. And it's hard because most people are always more dominant on, their upper chakras or their lower chakras. It's very rare that you see someone that's completely balanced.
And I
It's just
never knew that. I never
it's
knew
very
that.
impossible.
So,
Yeah, because
mm.
we're two upside down triangles. So, and the points being at the bottom. So once, you get the energy flowing from the bottom part to the top part, it all meets in the middle and it creates a balance, our core.
Wow. Huh. So when you try to access your third eye, what do you get?
So it's hard. I actually get a white, almost like air screen. And then I just kind of start to I see an eye, but I see it as like myself. It's so if I'm doing it with someone else, sometimes I'm almost through channeling through them, which is kind of strange, but um, I always see stuff that other people that are other people's stuff, almost like I'm doing the shamanic journeying. Um, with me, it's always, always, always like I'm a younger version of myself, with my own voice now, and I'm like walking through my eye. So some people always people can see themselves as separate entity, or they see themselves as they're visualizing themselves. My goal is to get all three, which is seeing myself as separate. Also, like I want to see myself, like sitting in the chair that I'm doing now. But I never do. So I'm usually the one that's in control. I'm doing the remote viewing.
Do you, or have you heard, with the third eye, people can see some of the future, get insight, not like, fortune telling or anything, but just like insight to some of the future using your third eye?
Yes. Yes. And not even doing work, just that they're naturally like that. So I have one of
So
my best,
jealous. So jealous.
right? Let's see her. Like one of my best girlfriends. She always will say, "Have you heard from so and so?" And I know right there, I'm like, "Gosh, yeah, I know I will eventually hear from this person," because it's like she's never met them, but it's like she gets these glimpses in her head,
Yeah.
and never fails. I will hear from that person within a day. So
Mm. And I just feel that there is a level of intuitiveness that I have. I'm
yeah,
super humble. I would not say it unless I feel something there, but that's not there. And maybe this person that told me that recently, it was like 3 days ago, maybe they're on point, because I've never been able to access my third eye. I've tried, not to the depth that we just did, which was great, but I think it's clogged up. How do you unclog it? Is
It
it a chakra energy
Yes.
thing?
Yes. And absolutely, because you are very, in tune. So too much is going on the bottom part. The top part might need a little bit more work. I would say, because you're always on the go and you're thinking, think of your thinking as a bunch of spirits, okay, running around on the side of your head. And it's congesting your
Yeah.
thoughts,
That's what I feel. It's
I mean,
like
it's a good thing for business. It's a good thing for being a dad. It's a good thing for so many other, but just to be in the moment and be still. Sometimes your bottom half is, for sure. Like you sense people, your solar is probably great, your sacral, and you're very rooted. But the top part is like, I always have to do the same thing.
I feel like just what you described, like bing, 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 it's like all this going on. It's like, stop. Let me get back.
You were mentioning styes. So in a way to get rid of the excess energy, it has to go somewhere, right? So if a lot of people get skin allergies, they get rashes, hives, ear infections, things like it. Yours happens to be, I don't know if you get them a lot, but I know I used to, especially like in drier climate, styes all the time. And I always knew that's when I was like, okay, my brain's working on overtime. I'm like, need to relax.
Wow.
You're thinking too much. It's coming.
And I just got a text. Okay. And I dropped my daughter off at school for some testing. And the person that did the testing, I have never met them before. And I got a sense that I knew them. And she just texted me and she says, after you left, I realized that I worked as an intern on your morning show 23 years ago. And what a coincidence that was, blah, 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 blah. And I don't even know her name, but I sensed something when she was texting me to set up the appointment.
Yeah.
And then I just dropped my daughter off to say, hey, good to see you. Thank you very much. And that was that. So weird.
That's been happening to you kind of a lot lately. This is a time though where people are going to come into your life that are new, but could be from your past. So whether you want them or not. So
yes. And retrograde coming up too in another 2 weeks ish.
Yeah.
And maybe 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's already kicking.
23rd. Yeah. How do we find you if somebody wants to tap into their third eye or figure this stuff out? It's so powerful, so impactful. I know that you work with people all the time, even virtually. How do we do that?
You can contact me at 561-444-2411, or I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And my website is truesoulhealing.com.
One of my favorite groups from the 90s, and they had so many great songs, Semi-Charmed, Kind of Life, How's It Gonna Be, Third Eye Blind. That's me.
That's
Kind of is. Yeah.
Well, we're going to get you there. We'll get you
I would
there.
love that. Thank you so much, Jessica. It's always
much.
great having you on. Really appreciate you.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.